All right, guys, welcome back to my Skool Gunner fan cam. Greetings from Venezuela, guys. The sun's coming up, just starting to get a lot has happened in football in the last couple of days. It's been a very busy time in football the last couple of days. I'm just going to let Warren introduce himself again, guys. Give a little bit of info about his channel. As you can see, guys, running along the bottom of the screen on the news feed is all his channel information. You can see it there for yourselves. I have it at the bottom of the screen. Check out his channel, guys. I'll just give him a little bit of time to big it up, tell you a bit about his channel, and we're going to take it from there. Over to you, Warren.
Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, so my name's Warren. I'm from Warren's Team Talk. And my channel, I look primarily at Arsenal, but I look at football in general as well and talk about all my experiences I've had of watching football. I've been going to football since 1972. My first game was Arsenal-Liverpool at Highbury. And it was a famous game where Jimmy Hill ended up running the line because the linesman got injured. So, yeah, there's a lot of stories to tell. So come and check out my channel and find out all about what happened. Because, yeah, like I say, there's a lot of stories there to be told. So, yeah. And while you're all here, make sure that you subscribe to the Old Skool Gunner and put a like on all these videos and whatnot. And because it's a great channel. Really, really.
Support one of your own, boys, you know? Support one of your own. I'm one of your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about Arsenal for the majority of the show. But first of all, let's talk about a little bit of international football. Let's talk about Lionel Messi and that whole situation. Yeah. I'm sure people want to hear a lot about the whole Messi situation. What do you think about that, Warren? What do you think about the whole Messi situation? It was.
I just find it baffling how this whole situation has arisen. I mean, what has happened at Barcelona Football Club where they found themselves in the position where they can't afford to keep him anymore? I just don't understand it. Someone at that club has got some really big questions to answer, as far as I'm concerned. I don't blame Messi.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, he's got to guarantee his future. Apparently, he even offered to take a 50% pay cut so he could stay playing. It wasn't enough. And,
he agreed to 50%. Though.
Yeah. But there's been problems for a while. I thought it was going to happen sooner than this because you remember there was all that kerfuffle with him about him saying that he didn't want to stay and he was going to leave. And
last season, last year, 2020.
But it seemed to get resolved. So I don't understand it, mate. I just find it really bizarre.
Yeah. It was a big shock for the player. He agreed to take a 50% pay cut, but I think he would have played. I think he was willing to play also for nothing, for zero, just so he could see out his last year or two at the club. And that was his wish. The man has more money than he knows what to do with.
Yeah.
But they couldn't pay him nothing because the Spanish regulations about work practices, they couldn't pay him nothing. It's against the law. The lowest you can go in a work contract is a 50% contract, and they couldn't do anything else. He had to go, and it was a big shock. They agreed to 50%. Then they realized they couldn't do it. They're actually 1.2 billion euro in debt, believe it or not.
God,
and that's not the fantasy, guys. This is reality. I've checked it. I checked it again. I fact checked it. 1.2 billion in debt.
So they can't allow him to pay for like $1,000 a week or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just be on a normal salary that an average Joe would get. God, mate, that's real. Honestly, it's unbelievable. I just can't. I can't believe it. I just really feel sorry for him because obviously he don't want to
100
go.
million each. So they paid out 300 million, and none of those players worked. Coutinho, Dembele, and Griezmann. They cost like 110, 120 million each. And those players haven't exactly set the world on fire. Like last season, Atletico won the league. Atletico won the league. Not Barca or Real. All that money that they pumped in, everything they did, it amounted to nothing in the end because they didn't win the championship. And for Barcelona, it's all about winning the league. There's nothing else for them. Champions League, yeah, but the main thing in Spain is Barcelona want to be number one. You know what I mean?
See,
I feel sorry for Messi.
I've just got this really weird, crazy scenario coming to my head. Right? I don't know if it's legal, whether it's allowed or anything. But if they paid him his normal contract, right, and then he agreed to pay them, say 90% of it back to pump it into the club to buy shares, so-called shares in the club. Do you know what I mean? Whether that would be allowed. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's baffling. I mean, Juan Laporta, the chairman of Barcelona, he's under the microscope a bit, and he's feeling the heat of it, and deservedly so. I couldn't believe it when I heard about it. And to be honest, people can say what they like about Lionel Messi. I'm not his biggest fan. I'm not going to lie. But as a football player, amazing player. But his tears were real. And nobody can tell me that they weren't real.
No,
he was a man that was very upset. I mean, they were real tears. I've been around the block. You've been around the block.
Yeah.
Those tears were real. And there's no crocodile tears. Crocodile tear is a baby tear coming out of the side of your eye. He looked wrecked as soon as he stood up on the stage, man. As soon as he got up there, he was sniffling, he was with the tissue, he was doing stuff like that. He was completely, he was raw. You know what I mean?
Messed up. He was completely messed up.
Yeah, he was raw to the bone. You know what I mean? Anyway, listen, we'll move on past that. Best of luck to Lionel Messi at Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay. Do you think he'll perform there? Because I've just got this feeling, is he really going to be that committed to it?
I think he'll be committed, but he's not as good as he used to be. But obviously, he's still a much better player than me. But he's not as good as he used to be.
I'm not sure about that, mate.
I'm good when the ball is on the ground, but you know when he does the old dribble and the old flick, that's me out of the picture.
I've seen your ball skills, mate, on your videos.
I've got a massive. I'm actually like you can't see it on the screen, but I'm actually a big guy, and when the ball comes, I just shield it with my chest.
Yeah.
I turn like Granny Xhaka. I turn incredible steps. I just put him in the corner. That's me. My game. That's me.
Exactly. You certainly know how to football, that's for sure.
Completely. When I made the ball skill videos, my wife tried to reason with me. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. And I just wouldn't listen. But everyone has to learn. That was 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And
I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but it was no one ever watched it. You're the only one that watched it, I think. No one has watched that video. Nobody.
I just thought it was a brilliant end to the videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. Exactly. I was waiting for you to see you doing the keepy ups at the end of on one episode, just to or you see these guys and they're like heading the ball and keeping it in the air with their heads and whatnot.
This is my Granny Xhaka impression.
Oh God, he's got the turning. Oh God, that talks about him.
Granny Xhaka. Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're moving quicker than what Granny Xhaka does, mate.
He's like an ironing board. He just can't even move. Anyway.
Yeah, I've seen ships with a bigger who can turn
Yeah.
quicker than what he can.
That's what he needs to go. You could fit it. What are your thoughts on him? I mean, he's not worthy of 30 place. In my opinion, this is about football, guys. This is not us talking in which we've nothing personal against the players. Obama hasn't been doing it. I shouldn't even have to say this. Badly. What do you think about it, Warren? You would play him?
What do I think about what, mate? Because I didn't hear any of that. The connection was really bad. Huh?
What do you think about Aubameyang?
Aubameyang. Listen, I did some stats for you.
Oh, here we go.
This morning, right? Now, I've just been looking at his goal scoring.
This is going to hurt him a lot more than it's going to hurt us.
Yeah. In 2017-18 season, when he joined us, he scored 10 goals in 13 games, right? The next season, his first full season, 2018-19, he scored 31 goals in 42 games, which is a goal scoring rate of 0.74, right? Wow. The following season, 2019-20, he scored 29 goals in 41 games, which is just a little bit lower than the previous season, which was a goal scoring rate of 0.71. However, since 2020-21 season, he scored 15 goals in 33 appearances, meaning he's had a goal scoring rate of 0.45.
It almost half to.
Yeah, so it's dropped off dramatically.
Yeah.
Now, and when he signed that new contract, he got given the captaincy. So there's three things, right, that could potentially be causing this drop-off in form, right? One, it might be his age, and he might be just, losing his pace, and he might just be deteriorating. That's a massive drop-off just for that. It could be to do with the tactics that the team are playing, or it could be the fact that he's got the captaincy and it's too much for him. He can't handle the pressure of being captain.
The responsibility of the burden on his shoulders, maybe.
Or it could be all of the personal issues that he's had, like his health, like the issues with his mum's health. Because I know I've seen players who've had malaria before, and it really it has a dramatic impact on their performance, right? I remember Dave Madden. Remember? Do you know a guy called David Madden? He used to play at Crystal Palace.
No,
he went to Crystal Palace. He came to Maidstone United, and I remember watching him at Maidstone United, and he was superb. He was too good for Maidstone. He ended up getting malaria while he was at Maidstone, and he come back and he was never the same. I think he only ever played maybe 1 or 2 games more, because it just really messed with him. So it could be that, or it could be all of those things combined, or a number of them. But something's dramatically wrong. I think that someone needs to sit down with him and have a chat and talk to him.
Yeah.
Whether it's the doctor, the psychologist, certainly not Mikel Arteta. It needs to be someone independent.
Yeah, someone with a brain now. Someone with a brain.
Exactly. Someone independent from Arteta, because I'm not completely convinced that he's part of the problem. Because I've heard his agent before now coming out complaining about the tactics that the team are using, that it's not helping him.
Yeah.
But that being said, the year that Mikel Arteta came in, he still managed to bag a load of goals.
Yeah.
All right, and helped us to win the FA Cup and whatnot. So I don't know, man. It's a very difficult one, but I don't like the idea of a forward or a striker being a captain. I just don't think it works. I would never, ever have a forward or someone that either a goalkeeper or a striker as a captain, because they're too isolated from the rest of the team and what's going on. I much prefer it to be a central defender or a fullback or a midfielder to be captain, because you can see everything that's going on. You can get older people and have a word with them and stuff like that. Whereas a striker, they're too isolated. And a goalkeeper as well, you can't have a bloody goalkeeper charging out of his penalty area and start grabbing hold of a midfield player and saying, "What you doing?" Do you know what I mean? Back your ideas, that sort of thing. So that was why I think that the likes of Tony Adams, Roy Keane, those players were such good captains, partly because of the position they played in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they can influence it directly. They can influence the tempo directly.
Yeah, and Tony Adams was the centre back.
Yeah. You can see all in front of him now. You can see what was going on.
Yeah, I just think that the captaincy, with everything else that's going on, I just think it might be too much for him. And take it off him and give it to Kieran.
Yeah. Give it to Tierney,
Yeah.
I agree with you. A defender like that in that position is always better, or in the midfield. But definitely something is wrong with him. I think you're right. His personal life, his personal situation, look, that can happen to anybody. That can affect you and me too, in our lives. But he's definitely feeling the pressure of something. He's not 100% focused. I'd love to see what he's like in training. All the guys are hugging him. They're giving each other high fives. Lacazette had a couple of chances against Spurs. He was bigging up with Aubameyang. But I mean, the players on the team must also be getting a bit frustrated with him, because I know I would be. I'm a nice guy, but I mean, I want games. I want to win. You know what I mean? And he's not worthy of a starting place. And I say that with the ultimate respect for the guy, but he's not worthy of a starting position. I don't mean that, that sounds
That's why I want someone to go and sit and have a chat with him, find out what the hell's going on. Yeah. Because the other issue that I've just thought of that I hadn't thought of before is our diabolical midfield.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's not much creation. There's not much creation. But when he gets a chance, he air shot, man. You see when he missed completely. He missed the ball completely. He missed it completely. I mean, keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on the ball when you're going to strike it. That's not rocket science. That was an easy one to hit. I don't know where to go in, but hit it. You know what I mean? Actually hit the ball.
Do you think it's the pressure? Do you think the pressure's getting to him, and when the chance does come, he's not relaxed?
His ability. He's not the same player he was.
Yeah, and that's.
I think he's not the same player he was, but definitely the team is not as good as Chelsea. The team is not as good as United. We're not as good as Spurs against them. Right now, we're not as good as them. Maybe when we get the injured players back, when Ben White settles in, but we need a new striker. We need a goal machine. We need to buy a forward. Absolutely 110%. And the midfield problem is still there, but we need a striker. We're not scoring goals. Like, we didn't score once against Spurs. They could have scored 4. They didn't. They only scored 1. But it wasn't a competitive game. We didn't register a goal. Couldn't score. That was all last season, the same situation. We're not scoring enough goals. It's like Christmas if we score 2. It's like Christmas time when we score 2.
See, the thing is as well, we're not scoring enough goals from midfield.
Yeah.
Right? We had a goal-scoring midfielder and we sold him. Right? Now, the thing is, what alarms me about it is that he wasn't performing under Mikel Arteta. He wasn't doing the business. he goes on loan to Newcastle and plays under Steve Bruce. In my opinion, isn't a particularly good coach. Yet he was able to get him performing.
Yeah.
So what does that say about our coach?
And he got a run in the team. He actually gave him a run in the team.
Yeah.
7 goals in 7 games.
And
the last 7 games he scored in each game.
Yeah, and he equalled Alan Shearer's consecutive goal scoring record, didn't he?
Did he? Wow.
Yeah. He scored like 7 goals in succession, which was Alan Shearer's record. Alan Shearer did it once as well. He scored 7 in 7.
Shearer was a fantastic striker, unbelievable player. But that was good. I remember his goal against Liverpool, Willock. The goal against Liverpool right at the end to get a draw. What a shot! I couldn't put. They were like, and Joe Willock, the Arsenaloni, scored, and that took attention. I looked at the screen. I just saw him take the ball down, one look, and it was in the back of the net. It was like that. I could have taken him back. When he was getting more, we should have taken him back and put him in the team. He got a run in the team under Steve Bruce, and that's what made the difference. He actually played him. And of course, when he played him, he got into it. He found his rhythm, and there was a big gap in the Newcastle midfield, and he filled that position. You know, it's true what you say about Arteta and Steve Bruce. I mean, Bruce got him going. Bruce got him firing. And Arteta, limp biscuit, man. You know what I mean? Nothing going on over there. Devoid of ideas.
Everything about this club at the moment is really upsetting me. I'm getting really worried.
Him, no, right? Arteta and Xhaka. If they came up to me at London Colony, if I was one of the younger players, and if they put their hand on my shoulder and tried to give me some advice, I tell them, get the hand off me quick, fast, and don't give me any advice. They're not entitled. They're not qualified to give me advice. If Alan Shearer walks up, puts his hand on my shoulder and gives me advice, I respect the man. I look him in the eyes and I respect him. But the rest of them, man, they're giving you advice. The two of them, those two twits.
No, he's
useless, man. Arteta was a crap player and he's a crap manager. And it's just unlucky for us that he happens to be the manager of the team we support. Otherwise, we would have nothing to do with that loser. And I don't care what anyone thinks. Listen, I'm going to switch quickly. I was talking about the whole Ian Wright racial incident recently. People were abusive to me online, privately, texting me privately. Cowards, you know what I mean? The things they said, I'm not going to repeat. A lot of uneducated people, I'll be honest. And I'm Irish. I'm not exactly Einstein, but they're uneducated. You know what I mean? Of course, I'll meet them anytime, anywhere. And we'll sort it out the old-fashioned way. But they don't want that. You know what I mean?
Fair play to you, mate.
Look at me. I'm all there. You know what I mean? I'm all there.
Yeah. No, fair play to you, mate. Because that is disgusting. There is no
racism, right? We're just going to talk about that a little bit. I mean, what do you think about it? People were telling me he should turn the other cheek, man up. He's been dealing with it his whole life. These guys that are saying that are white. They're white. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that white people don't suffer racism. Maybe they do. They definitely do at a point, but black people have had to deal with that for a long time. Yeah. I'm going to talk serious for a minute, all joking aside. Telling him to man up. Man, it hurts you here. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And it's always Ian Wright. There was this 16-year-old kid from Ireland, was abusing him on Twitter, calling him, you know, I'm not going to get into what he was calling the guy.
No, I know it, mate. It was outrageous. And Ian
Wright is a tough guy.
Yeah, I put a comment on that video that you did about it, saying the ones who need to man up are the ones that are saying that and they need to stop it.
Yeah.
The man upping needs to be done by the ones that are making those comments.
Yeah, they need to shut it. It's
absolutely ludicrous.
If they have a problem with the player, why don't they call him an a-hole? I'm not going to curse now, we're online. But why don't they call him an a-hole? Why don't they call him a B? Why don't they call him that? But why do they have to use the race card? Why do they have to go there? You know what I mean? Why do they have to go there? If they don't like the guy, there's a lot of things you can call a guy in English language. Big vocabulary. Why do they have to go for the racial thing? I mean, And in fairness, he came out and he said afterwards, it's not the majority of Leicester fans. It's a small minority. He always bigs up Leicester and he always bigs up their fans. He always supports them. And somebody said he was doing it. He got abused because he celebrated the goal. The goal was for Leicester. It was Leicester fans abused him. I don't think people are with it. Oh, he got abused because he celebrated the goal. He was celebrating the goal for Leicester. It was Leicester fans abused him, guys, not Manchester City. Come back to reality. Do they know what they're talking about?
That's insane. That is actually insane.
That's what people were saying.
They're about him because he celebrated a Leicester goal, and then
and then they said, well, Roy Keane was abused as well. Roy Keane was abused as well. Yeah, Roy Keane was abused because he's Irish. And guess what, guys? I'm Irish. And guess what, guys? My parents are Irish. And guess what, guys? My grandparents are Irish. I'm full breed. I'm 100% Irish. I'm like a piece of the Cliffs of Moher. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then they're saying, well, he was abused. But it's not the same. Calling a guy Irish and this, it's not the same as calling a guy, you know, the race card for me is they crossed the line. They crossed the line with Ian Wright. And it's not because he's an Arsenal player. How long has it been going on for? This kind of crap. You know what I mean? I mean, Sol Campbell, back in the day, the abuse he got, and that was before he left Spurs. You know what I mean? That was before he came to Arsenal. A lot of people say that because, look, I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of people say that affected him maybe being captain of England, being captain of the national side. To a certain extent, it maybe influenced it. That's what he says in every documentary he does. That's what he says in interviews. I just think enough is enough anyway. Look, it's not because they're Arsenal players. I'm on about in general. What happened to those 3 young kids at Euro 2020 final? The 3 guys that actually had the bottle to man up and take a penalty. The abuse they got later on social media. I mean, that is... There's no need for that. There's no need for that in football. These people are disgraced.
It's depressing because it just keeps happening. And what I can't understand is why the government doesn't do something to force these companies to demand proof.
Yeah, and the football club.
And address so that these people can be identified.
Yeah, and the football club.
If you want to open a bank account, you've got to bring proof of ID and you've got to bring proof of address. So why can't you do it for opening like a social media account? I just don't get it. I just do not understand why it can't be done. Because it's not difficult.
Yeah. And the police can look into it. I mean, there's video cameras everywhere. Actually, you're saying it's good. There's video cameras everywhere at Wembley on that. I mean, this is a top-class 5-star state-of-the-art stadium. It's a FIFA 5-star stadium. There's cameras everywhere. Give the police the opportunity to have a look at the camera footage. They'll see who it was, man. Easy peasy, not a problem. Point them out. People were saying like things. I don't know, but doesn't sense put a bit of mouse on them. I'm on too, you know. In big one.
I know, mate. It's just it's sickening.
Say no more about it.
No, it is. It's sickening. It really is. I just find that whole thing really depressing. I really do. It's like in this day and age that this sort of nonsense is still going on. You know, and I don't know. I just don't know what the answer is. I mean, whether, you know, we end up having to ban these people or give them jail time or what we have to do, I really don't know. I really don't. I just don't. You know, because something needs to be done, because whatever it is that's being done at the moment, it isn't working. Because it keeps happening again and again and again and again. You know, it's not very good example of a civilized society where people can, be abused like that based on their color, their race, their religion, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. It's not acceptable. But so, what's next on the list, mate?
Right. What's next on the list? We've dealt with that little chestnut. I'm going to talk about the league kickoff against Brentford. There's a league kickoff against Brentford. Are Arsenal ready? Are we ready for the start of the league? What's your opinion? Obviously, I hope Aubameyang doesn't play, but Arteta, he's completely mindless. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's like my mom coaching the team. In fairness, my mother would do better than Arteta. But he's not, he doesn't have the team ready for the start of the season. And Aubameyang should not play. Xhaka never played for his club again. 5 years on the bench would be good for him. Teach him a lesson, put some manners on him. Man, I don't think we're ready for the start of the season. What do you think? I mean, it's on Friday. 3 days time.
No way in the world we're ready for the start of the season. We're weaker than we were last year. We've got no backup goalkeeper. We need a right back. We need, I'd say, at least 3 midfield players and a striker. Right? We spent £50 million on a centre back, which was probably the £50 million we spent on that centre back is probably double what he's worth. And I just don't understand what the hell's going on. We've bought this centre back that I mentioned and 2 backup players. Now, before the end of the season, Mikel Arteta was going on that he was going to be backed and that the club was going to undertake the biggest overhaul in the club's history, and it was going to be like this £250 million overhaul, right? So what's happened to that? And honestly, this is why I'm so angry. It's because this club continually keeps lying to its supporters, right? It's secretive, it lies, it's got no interest in being successful on the pitch, in my opinion, whatsoever. All they're interested in doing is dropping new merch every week. I think that's half the reason why Bellerin's still here, because they think he's a good model for all the new merch that comes out. I honestly, years and years ago, what would happen is that all the new players would get signed. They'd then have the pre-season to work with the manager or the coach or team or whatever. And then the season would start and you'd be ready to go. But that seems to have gone out of the window for probably since the second half of Arsene Wenger's reign. I can remember the last time that we were ready for a start of the season, and we always really start seasons really poorly. And it's because that they don't get the players in they need. I mean, people keep saying, the transfer window doesn't end until the 31st of August. You need to be patient. I can't give a shit when it finishes. The transfer window for me shuts on Friday night. And to be honest, we should have done our business 2-3 weeks before this game at Brentford, so we could get all the players acclimatised into the team, got used to knowing their new teammates, got used to knowing what role we wanted them to play, got used to knowing the tactics that the team was going to play, so that come the start of the season, we're ready to go. None of that is going to happen. And that's why I think we're going to have a really poor start to the season. And in fact, I think we're going to lose the first 3 games. I can't see us getting anything out of the game at Brentford, and certainly not at against Chelsea or Man City. The reason I don't think we'll get anything out of the game at Brentford is because of all these issues I've just mentioned. And also because of the fact that Brentford, they've just been promoted. Right, First ever season in the Premier League. They're playing in a new stadium. Their fans are going to be absolutely rocking.
Yeah.
And you know how weak and of a mentality our team has got. They ain't going to be able to cope with that.
Mine was no bottom.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we ain't got as many players as we had last year. We ain't got a backup goalkeeper. We lost Ceballos. Not that I thought he was that particularly good, but that's another option from midfield gone.
I liked him. I like Danny. Yeah, I like Ceballos. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just a shambles, mate. The whole thing. And I put a video on my channel the other day about it, saying what a shambles I thought it was. You know, because I was just so frustrated with the whole thing. It's just the club is being run into the ground, and until that joker who owns the club is gone, I just can't see it getting any better.
No, the problem is the same every season now.
Yeah.
If you plan to dislodge him, I mean to say, like, he doesn't really care what's going on the field. Mikel Arteta as well should be ashamed of himself, because he's letting himself be used in that position, and he's not being honest with himself. Okay, he wants a manager's job, but he should rather quit Arsenal and go somewhere else where he has a better opportunity. And because he's being used as a puppet, and he's more than willing to let that happen to him, just so he can have a managerial role. He will never win the league, Arteta. He will never win the league. He will never be like Pep Guardiola. He will never be like Jurgen Klopp. He will never be like Arsene Wenger.
Wasn't it him that said that when he got appointed that he was going to win the Champions League for Arsenal in 3 years?
Gee, I tell you, the one investment going on there, I don't know what he was saying. Elon Musk going to take over the club.
That went well, didn't it?
Maybe Elon Musk. Yeah, that went well. Maybe Elon Musk was going to be the owner in his little mind. Elon Musk and Arteta were going to fly into space. Listen to me here now, guys. I'm onto something. Musk and Arteta were going to take off into space. There they go, yeah? They were going to get some aliens, bring them back and play for Arsenal. And maybe then we'll win the Champions League. He's on serious. Like,
we got to qualify for it first.
Or something.
We got to qualify for the damn thing first. I can't even see us doing that, let alone winning the thing.
And we got a lucky 8th last season. We broke into 8th position last season. We got in by the skin of our teeth, thanks to Tierney, Smith Rowe, and Saka. And no other reason. It was because of the 3 of them that we got into 8th position. They were carrying the team. They were carrying the team at the end. Aubameyang and Lacazette were just passengers, man. Look, I'm not going to get the personal slag in Lacazette. Lacazette's limited. Aubameyang is not on form. But what I wanted to talk about, I have an idea about Mikel Arteta. And I was thinking about it last night. I'm in Venezuela, guys. I have a lot of time to do a lot of thinking about real life, because I see it every day here. This is my idea about Arteta. Arteta never intended to sell Granit Xhaka. We all know that. But he got the thing going with AS Roma. The rumours were sent in the newspapers. The media, of course, they were all over it like a dog in heat. You know, locals. They never intended to sell Granit Xhaka. This thing about AS Roma. Fair enough. If they wanted to go, they won't contract when he stays. You know what I mean? Okay, cancel it. Put Mesut Ozil on.
Mate, you've broken up. I can't hear anything you're saying, unfortunately.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but there's like a big chunk.
They had absolutely.
You're talking about Granit Xhaka, and then the internet.
Again, yeah? It's okay, I can start again.
Stopped you. So, what's your theory about Mikel Arteta? He obviously doesn't want to get rid of Granit Xhaka, and I agree with that.
Arsenal had no intention of ever selling Granit Xhaka. This whole AS Roma thing was perfect for them. Then when we couldn't sell the player, or they didn't even reduce the price, I would do anything to get rid of that player if I wanted to sell him. 5 million, take him away, and I'd give him a signed jersey or whatever. You know what I mean? I give them a Ferrari, and they can have him for 5 million. No, they wanted to sell him. It was perfect for them in the end when he stayed. And then they could say, well, we did our best to sell him. If that was the case, there would be no contract extension. They wouldn't give him that. They would let him wind down the last year, and then they will get rid of him. They didn't make a real effort. It's like a perfect excuse for them. Well, we tried to sell him to Roma. They didn't try. They didn't want him to go. And then they reward him with a new contract, better pay, and extra years to stay at the club. They never wanted him to leave in the first place. Don't insult my intelligence. They're insulting our intelligence. They're insulting the intelligence of every Arsenal fan. How can Arteta stand there? Like, and why the hell is he dyeing his hair? Look at the state of him. What age is he? If he's going grey, let it go grey. Why is he dyeing his hair? Look at the state of him. Every time my wife sees him, she sees him with his black hair. It's like my cat. Why are you dyeing your hair, Arteta? You look like a clown, man. If it's going grey, let it go grey. He's a mature man. He's not 19. A couple of grey hairs? Who cares?
Yeah.
Look at
Tell
me.
your wife right, that Mikel Arteta is a Peruvian packet. Tell her he's a Peruvian packet. She'll know exactly what that means.
He's a Peruvian what?
Packet.
He's a Peruvian packet.
Yeah, basically, you open it and there's nothing inside it.
My wife does not like Peruvians.
No, exactly. There you go.
They don't like them at all, and they do not like Colombians.
Jose Reyes, that he was a Peruvian packet, because you open it and there's nothing there.
Poor Jose Reyes. No, in fairness, rest in peace, Jose, man.
Yeah, God bless him. Yeah,
but that's that poor guy.
She's going to be, why do you like him so much? He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, like
is
Hector Bellerin, because he's a bit of a model, yeah. I think he's like a Primark model. I think Bellerin is a model for Primark. Is he giving Arteta advice? Dye your hair. Let's look cool.
Mate, I think he's giving him something, but I don't think it's advice. I think we'll leave it at that.
You know what I mean? They're getting freaky.
You know, you lived with him when he first come to England, don't you? Like Mikel Arteta put him up.
Man.
Well, there you go, you see.
Two of them, two of them.
What I can't understand is why they've made no effort whatsoever to find an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. It's clear that he's not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? So why... I can understand why they don't want to get rid of him if they haven't got an adequate replacement. Right? But at least go out and make the effort to get a replacement. That fella, Yves Bissouma from Brighton, apparently he's an Arsenal fan and he wants to come.
And he's a fantastic player.
Yeah. And
he's an animal powerhouse.
Exactly. Having him and Partey in the midfield together, can you imagine it? It would be unbelievable.
Exactly. Speaking about Partey, he got injured against Tottenham. I just went like this. That's perfect for Mikel Arteta now. Partey's good. Perfect. And now I can say about Xhaka, it's like justification of Granit Xhaka. Partey gets injured. Well, I'm justified. I'm justified now because I said it. Xhaka again. What a load of, that's the way he's thinking. And he never once addresses the fans. He never once addresses the fans in the media. He never takes things that he does. He's completely...
See, what I don't like about him as well is his arrogance, right? Because Mikel Arteta made Pepe apologise for grabbing that guy around the throat, right? Xhaka has done that and more, and he's never apologised once for any of it. So, and this is what I'm talking about, Arteta's man management. He's not it's completely all over the shop. It's one thing for one player, something else for another one, something else again for another one. You need to be consistent with your management. Right? I mean, I don't know if you've ever managed people before, but I have, and there's no way in the world. I hate it, mate. I really do, because it's all right all the time. You've got a good staff team, but when you've got people who are a bit problematic, it's really hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, when you're managing people, you need to be consistent with what you're doing. Not just do one thing with one person, something else with another, something else with another one. It's all over the shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's honestly, I've got no confidence in him whatsoever.
He's got his favourites. He's got his little fanboys. You know what I mean? Xhaka, Bellerin. He's in love with Willian. I can't see what he sees in Willian, because he couldn't cross his legs, and I might say cross the ball. I don't know why he likes Willian. He's got his fanboys, puppets.
What's going on with this Willian fella? Why is he still here?
Why is Kolasinac still there?
They're talking about cancelling his contract. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, they all have a year left in their contracts. 5 of the players have a year left.
Just pay them off and get them out, because they're bad apples. Just pay them off. If they can't get anyone to buy them, I mean, I can see why they might have trouble getting someone to buy Willian, because his form has been awful. And the wages he's on, who's going to pay those wages?
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, you get a club come in and offer him this and that. He'll go, well, it's less than what I'm getting at Arsenal. It's all right, I'll just sit it out here. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
Yeah. He's got friends in London. He has a restaurant. He likes to meet up with him at weekends at his restaurant, and they have some food. That's the only reason he wanted to stay in London. That's why he came to Arsenal from Chelsea. And that is 100% the truth. He's thinking of his own life, his own quality of life, and he's not thinking of the football. I mean, they're relying to themselves, these guys. I mean, man,
that's
I wish
why I
all
want
the best of luck in training. I hope they.
That's why I want Don Diego Simone coming in. Because he won't put up with it.
No. He
I
likes
can
to rumble.
imagine him having Bellerin up against the wall, pinned up against the wall by the throat.
He likes a rumble. He likes a scrap. There's no doubt about that now.
Yeah,
he likes the rumble.
Won't take any shit. He's like a proper gangster manager.
He'll get you in a headlock in front of all the players. You know what I mean? He'll and if he gets you alone, it's even worse. He's going to kill you then.
Yeah,
I'd be afraid of Simeone. You know, I'm not a weak guy, but I would be respectful of him in training. He's a lunatic.
And that's the sort of manager we need to sort some of these.
He's got a hard neck, yeah. He's hard necked. He's got a brass neck.
Yeah, he needs to, because you know, these players are taking the piss. The way they treated Unai Emery was absolutely disgraceful, and the way they were allowed to get away with it.
Punks.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's why we need a strong leadership up the line of the club, and we haven't got it. You know,
and probably
that Vinay character, like Vinay, Edu, that Richard Chasley, the whole bloody lot of them need to go. And you know, I'd have Dave O'Leary working there as well.
Now, what is Edu's problem? I mean, he had a good career as a player.
He's on holiday
because he had a good career and he was very effective. He was a very effective person. What's his problem? What is Edu's problem?
What does he do? That's what I want to know. You know,
he was a very good player for us. He left it at that. He's a much better than Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta fit to clean boots. You know what I mean? Edu was a much better player than Mikel Arteta. He was very effective. Very effective. He was also in the right place at the right. He was in the right place at the right time. A cool head, side-footed finish at the San Siro. Not a bother. You know what I mean? The guy has a cool head. Man, what was he doing? He didn't manage.
He was tough and he was strong, and he could he could pass the ball well. He could score a goal.
He was in the right place. He had a good sense for it. He'd sniff out the chance. He'd say, "Well, I'll stand on the edge of the box in case something drops. In case the ball breaks loose." Everyone went in. The ball would break. There was Edu. You know what I mean? Side-footed finish. That was his party piece. Calmly side-footing the ball into the net. He was brilliant at it. He was always in the right place at the right time. But he's destroying, man. He's destroying his legacy. For me, it just leaves a bad taste in the mouth. What's going on? We're not ready. We're not ready for Friday. Like you said, the stadium is in Brentford, and they're going to be well up for it. And like you said, they know we've got a weak centre. They're going to maul us. We're going to get mauled. Are the players mentally and physically up for it? Because they should be. Man, they need to be up for it. Well up for it.
Because they're gonna be up for it. I can guarantee you that. Because we're not. I don't think that away fans are allowed, are they? Are they away fans allowed at the moment because of the COVID?
And it's the first game since March of last year where full capacity is going to be.
Right. But
I read that yesterday.
At these games, are there going to be away fans allowed in? Because they weren't allowed in at Tottenham, were they? We weren't allowed to have.
Yeah, this one is going to have the away fans. It's the first match. It's the first match since March of last year that they're doing it. It's like a trial.
Well,
so there's going to be a full house. Full house. So we'll see.
I'm telling you, mate. Wait until maybe the 5th or 6th game of the season. If we've gone through a spell where we're playing really poorly and we're really struggling, you wait and see what the crowd do. Because I think they're going to turn on him.
Yeah,
I really do.
I hope so. Because something has to change. He got away with it. He got away with it up to now, because the fans aren't there to abuse him.
Huh?
He got away with it up until now because the fans can't abuse him in the stadium. Now it's going to be different, I hope so.
So the thing that changed it for Wenger was when people stopped going to the games. You remember, and then there was a couple of games at the Emirates where you could see the cannon thing, and then all of a sudden, Josh turns up. That he got sent over here to sort it out, and then Arsene got shown the door. So yeah. So that's another question. I want an answer to. What's Josh up to?
Nothing. He's checking his bank account.
Yeah. After the ESL nonsense, he came out and was going, "Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of me." I haven't heard one word out of him since then.
That's the thing. It's like a silent partner. Muppets.
Yeah. But it needs an owner who's going to care about it and do something. Not, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a big problem for me that they don't seem to care about the club. It really is.
You have to say this. It's going to be interesting. It's going to get hot. Things are going to get heated. It's going to get volatile. It's going to be interesting what happens with the team. And I, for one, am looking forward to seeing what happens with them because there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of this, and a lot of time put up or shut up or have to deliver. It's a big sin for him. Okay, we're back. I'm saying the team is not ready. The squad is not ready. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season. I can't wait for the first game and see how they do. But the next two games, the two games after that, and that brings me on to my next point. Arteta's team selections, like he's not getting the best out of the players that he has. I could talk about it till the cows come home, man. He's not getting the best out of the players that he has. What about Gabriel Martinelli? Martinelli is back now from Tokyo, yeah? He's back from the Olympic final with Brazil. Job done, gold medal. Now he's focusing on Arsenal. This guy is young, he's fit, and he's hungry. He's twice the player Aubameyang is right now. He needs to start against Brentford. Him and Lacazette. In fairness, Lacazette put in a shift against Spurs. Aubameyang. Best thing that could happen for Aubameyang is he gets dropped. And with the best of intentions, he's going to look at himself, man. He's going to look in the mirror. He might not like what he sees, but everyone has to face up to it. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. You take a long look at yourself and you pull it together, whether it's work, whether it's football, whatever. He needs to get with the program, man. They need to drop him. You'll see how he reacts. He's going to come back and he's going to want his place back. And that is better for him, better for the club, better for everybody. What he's doing is not okay. You can't play this guy. If he plays me, of course I'm going to want to play. He picks me in the team I'm going to play. But at some point, I'm going to look at myself and realize I'm letting the team down. And I'm letting myself down. I'm letting the fans down. And I would step back and let a younger player go forward. Man. Arteta's team selections. Hey. Like, yeah.
Do you think he knows what his best team is?
That's
serious
question to answer. I mean,
I've got serious doubts whether he knows what his best team is. Right?
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'd want in my head a preferred tactical system that I'd want to use for every game. You may want to tinker it a little bit, depending on who you're playing against. So that's just the way that I approach football. Right. Like sometimes I might go 4-2-3-1, I might go 4-3-3.
Depending on the opposition,
Yeah, exactly. So if you're playing Manchester City, you might want to go with a 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're playing against Watford, you might have to play 3 at the back or 2 at the back. Do you know what I mean? It depends. But that being said, you need to have it in your head what your best 11 is, right? Of course. There's some players who get regular starts in that team who, for me, shouldn't even be in the squad, let alone starting.
I agree with you.
Hector Bellerin. I don't even know why he's still here. It just don't make any sense to me, right? And I've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I've got 2 positions that boy can fill in our team, and he would do better than the current incumbents. I'd either play him at right back instead of Hector, or I'd play him in midfield in Granit Xhaka's position. I've never ever seen him play in midfield, so I don't know how he would do. But I'd like to give him a chance because that is his preferred position, just to see what he can do. And he'll be alongside when Partey comes back from his injury. He'll be alongside Partey. Partey can train him a little bit and coach him through it. You remember when Tony Adams first came into the Arsenal team, he was playing alongside David O'Leary and Viv Anderson. And when he was playing at centre-back in that team, he was 17, 18 years old, and they kept screaming at him, clean sheet, all through the game, right? And apparently that's how he sort of learned, by listening to them and them talking him through games. So, I just don't see what Granit Xhaka brings to this team. He can't pass, he can't tackle, he can't create. He's a liability. Every time he's playing, I'm just panicking about what he's going to do next. Who he's going to foul, whether he's going to get sent off, whether he's going to pass the ball to the opposition and they're going to score a goal. Like he did last year up at Burnley when he passed the ball across the penalty area, straight into the path of a Burnley forward, and they equalised. I don't know about you. When I was at school, I remember being told by our games teacher don't pass the ball across your own penalty area. And I was 9 years old when I got told this.
Yeah. Basic
Man
stuff.
in like mid to late 20s, like doing it, and he's not even looking.
That's
What he's
basic.
doing, I just can't understand how mad it is.
That's basic stuff. I mean, even the best players, Roberto Carlos, man, when he used to have the ball in a position, he used to kick it out when he had to, kick it out across the touchline and let the opposition have a throw. The team are back in position and they're ready to defend it. I mean, you got to be clever about these things. If in doubt, put it out. Just kick the ball out. Every player trying to make a name for himself. Who's he trying to be? Franz Beckenbauer? Karl-Heinz Rummenigge? They're far from Franz Beckenbauer. They're far from Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. I mean, when you get now, I know you remember those, but I can remember them. When they got the ball, man, they were looking libero. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They have got what do they call Beckenbauer? Kaiser. I mean, he was the king. You know what I mean? He was the man in there. Put the ball and just put it out of the lane.
Now you're talking. He was superb.
Yeah.
He was a superb player, but I can't understand why Martinelli can't get in that team. I just don't get it. Like, you've got 2 players up front who are misfiring, right? I personally think that Lacazette is a quality player. I do. I've seen it in him when he was Unai Emery. He was superb. He could have quite easily won the Player of the Season because he worked so hard.
He was our top goal scorer last season. He was our top goal scorer last season.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't understand why Aubameyang is continued to be played unless he's trying to play himself back into form or what it is.
Give him a bit of a shock, but dropping him is going to be a shock needs, man. Dropping him.
You know, so I just think that Martinelli needs to start and maybe start up front with Lacazette. But then you've got the issue about Willian as well. What's he going to do with him? I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him start on Friday night.
Xhaka's going to start, obviously.
Huh?
Xhaka will start without a doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
Xhaka's going to play without a doubt.
I don't want him to, but I think you're right. I think he will start.
He's going to play all season.
You know, and it'll probably be Xhaka and El Neni in central midfield.
Brentford are probably watching this now, and they're probably doing this.
It will be.
Lads.
2 of them together. It's just like an absolute nightmare.
It's like, you know.
Do you think Emil Smith-Rowe will get a start?
That poor guy, man. They made him the number 10 and they gave him the contract. You need the best players on the field. You know, strongest element possible. Like, they're going to beat us. Yeah. I'm not confident for that match. I'm not holding out too much hope. I'm not confident for that game. If we don't feel our strongest 11, and if the players don't go out and actually apply themselves and mark back and fill the gaps when they need to, we need to attack as one and defend as one. We need to literally move. There needs to be a bit of flow. Attack as one and defend as one. From the front to the back. If we don't play like that against Brentford, they're going to open us up. They're going to turn us over. We have weak links in the team. There's a lot of weak areas in the team. The midfield plays far too open. But that's because of the players we have also. The midfield is far too open. Nobody makes a tackle as well. I don't know what it is. Is it against the law to tackle anymore? I'm not expecting it to kick a guy into row Z and to break a guy's legs. Like, you remember Wimbledon back in the day, yeah? The crazy gang. I'm not expecting them to do like a Wimbledon on it and, you know, kick a guy right between the legs right in front of the referee or stand on him. There's no need to do that kind of thing. But a hard tackle, hard but fair, Emmanuel Petit style, You know what I mean? Hard but fair. No one is tackling. There's a lot of kind of jockeying the player, a lot of kind of like standing off his shoulder and kind of running with the player and getting close. But then there's no tackle. They just kind of run with it. They accompany the player. It's like, what are they doing? Someone at some point needs to tackle.
What makes me laugh is like, and it became a major issue for me at that game at Leeds last season, the 0-0 game at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Right? Pepe gets sent off for headbutting someone, and the guy that caused it, he's there with Granit Xhaka laughing and joking at the end of the game, and Kieran Tierney's trying to get at him to have a go at him, and Xhaka's standing there cuddling the fella and laughing and joking with him. I'm thinking,
if only dropped the hand on
is going on at this club?
If only dropped the hand on,
this is a game of football. We're not, it's not strictly come dancing, for Christ's sake. Do you know these?
This
crowd are our enemy. We're going into battle with them for 3 points.
You remember back in the day, Van Nistelrooy's missed penalty and all the players, Keown and Ashley Cole and Lauren lost the plot. Ray Parlour took leave of his senses. Everybody was trying to kill Van Nistelrooy.
In front of Van Nistelrooy like a man possessed. And I remember as well, previous to that, we had another ruck with Manchester United when they ended up unbeaten run, and another battle before that when George was in control.
Ashley Cole threw a bit of pizza at one of the United players.
Exactly.
Threw a bit of pizza at him. Pizzagate. I think it was a margarita pizza. I'm not sure.
We lost. We got deducted points at the end of the 91 season, I think, and we lost 2 points because of that, right? And George had to sit the players down. Well, he did it in front of the cameras. What he said to them off camera, I don't know. But on camera, he said to them, listen, lads, you've got to watch your behaviour. Right? Because they all one went in and they all steamed in. It reminds me of, as you well know, I'm a big rugby fan.
Mm.
And the Lions went on a tour somewhere. I think it was in South Africa. And this one game, they got absolutely battered by the opposition. And they'd had a meeting in the week after, talking about it. And they said, no, that's not happening again. And they come up with this 99 call. Now, this 99 call is infamous in rugby, right? You talk to any rugby fan about the 99 call and they will know what it's about. Basically, what happened was the next game, if anyone was getting battered, they'd just scream out 99 and the whole team would come piling in. And that's what happened.
Man, they should have done that for Brian O'Driscoll.
He shouted out 99 and the whole team just went in and it just descended into a massive brawl.
They should have, yeah.
These rugby boys, they don't mess around. Do you know what I mean? It's not like pushing and shoving. It's like proper full-on punches. Do you know what I mean? And
they should have done it for Brian O'Driscoll, man. They didn't do it for Brian O'Driscoll with the Lions. Maybe they should have. You remember that game? Brian O'Driscoll, Irish captain.
The what? Sorry?
Brian O'Driscoll, the Irish captain.
Oh, yeah.
You remember what happened to him? They didn't do anything for him, man. He got his collarbone broken and almost his neck. The only thing that saved him was that he was incredibly strong in that area. You know, he was very good athletically, and he had a lot of muscle and strength, and that saved him from actually breaking his neck.
They could have killed him.
They lifted him up, remember? They lifted him up by the shorts, turned him upside down, and crack.
Yeah, it's really dangerous. You could kill someone doing that.
They're animals, man. Animals, these guys.
No.
Two scumbags. If you did that outside here on the street, you'd be going to prison for it.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? They could have killed him, so 99. They should have given a 99 and saved him there. Yeah. He's a muppet. I don't like the player. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying is that the mentality of the team is all wrong.
Yeah, no fight, no
No.
backing each other up, no character, no spirit.
Yeah.
Spicy
They're
tackle.
all there high-fiving and all
Yeah.
this carry on. I can't stand
I'm a
it.
model professional. At the end of the game, I'm a model professional. I will shake the opponent's hand. I'm a model professional. This kind of crap. Jesus, you can't be friends with everyone. You know what I mean? There's people out there that I don't like in my life.
I remember
Friends with
years and
everyone, man.
years ago in the '82 World Cup,
Mm.
Scotland got knocked out by Uruguay. A Uruguayan player got sent off in the first minute for like taking out one of the Scottish players.
They were
Right?
a dirty team, man. And the Uruguayans, they played dirty
Awful. And they
football, man.
like kicked their way all through the game. At the
Yeah.
end of the game, the Scottish players refused to shake the Uruguayan players' hands.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like this. Get away from me. I ain't shaking your hand.
I'd be rolling around on the ground with them. Get away from me shaking them. I would be rolling around on the ground with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wouldn't get the best of it. I guarantee they wouldn't get the best of it.
No.
I'd be rolling around on the ground with them. Ban me from football. I'd open a restaurant. You know what I mean? So what? At least I'd stand up for what I believe in, man. And I get down to the dirty. If they start this, right, lads, let's have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just all wrong, mate. It is. It's all wrong.
Come back, Martin Keown. Come back, Martin Keown. All is forgiven. You know what I mean? Come back and grace us with your presence.
We need more of them. We need more like Martin Keowans and
He got a blood injury against Van Nistelrooy. He went off, bandage, came back on.
Yeah.
You didn't see him. His little finger was hurting him. No, man. There was blood coming from the guy's head. Quick bandage, back on. He played a blinder. He played out of his skin in that game. The bandage, he was well up for it, man.
You saw that. You obviously must have seen the Thierry Henry documentary, right? When he's going on about the statue and all the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about like number of games that he played where he was in pain for Arsenal. He said he had to take injections and stuff like that. Because he did it because he loves the club. And he said when he first came to the club, like Tony Adams, Lee Dixon, Martin Keown, they like rammed it down his throat. And he got to have the feeling for the club the same that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And these players today.
That's missing. Yeah, that's missing.
The one I used to really like that played a few years ago was the German lad, Podolski.
Ah, yeah, the Polish German guy, yeah. Podolski,
yeah. The reason I liked him was because when he came here, apparently he spent a couple of days reading up on all of Arsenal's history and finding out about the club. Went round looking at London and all the rest of it. Did you get
he went with Ray Parlour, and Ray Parlour taught him London slang.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But I really like that because that to me shows that there's a degree of passion. And then in the North London derby, he jumped into the away end with all the Arsenal fans celebrating the victory, and there's pictures of him standing up on the inside the away end and that whatnot with the away supporters, and that's the sort of thing I want to see. Do you know?
You should follow him on Instagram. Follow Podolski on Instagram. His account is very good.
Yeah.
He's gone back to Poland. He's gone back playing in Poland, but he has a restaurant in Turkey. He sells doner kebab. He has his own restaurant. He has a kicker, Strassen kicker in Cologne. They have like indoor soccer arena, like with all different indoor soccer pitches, like 20 pitches. So he has this business. He has a doner kebab restaurant chain, takeaway. He's an interesting guy, cool guy.
Yeah, no, I love him. I think he's great.
Underrated, man. They never used him. His left leg was like a rocket. They never used him properly. His left leg, when he hit the ball, man, how many goals did he score for Germany? He scored a lot of goals. Lots.
When he came here, I remember he got upset because he wanted to play as a striker, but Arsenal kept wanting him to play out on the left wing.
Yeah.
You know, And like Wenger said, well, you keep going on about being a striker. He said, but what have you been doing for Germany? You play it on the left for Germany, so why can't you do it here? You know, but I agree with you. I don't think we really used him properly.
No, they didn't play him enough. He has physicality. He was a strong man. He's a strong guy. He has muscle. And his left leg was unstoppable. It could be me in goal, or it could be David De Gea. It could be Peter Schmeichel. It makes no difference. If he hit it cleanly with his left leg, top corner, man, and it's hard. He hits the ball hard. A few times he cracks it in, man. He hits the ball very hard, and cleanly. It's unstoppable. He did it all the time. Cracked it in. You know what I mean? We definitely didn't utilize him, and he had the right attitude. He was a bit cheeky. He would square up to someone. He would win the free. He would put the ball down. He would go chest to chest with the guy, but he was under control. He never lost it, but he was cheeky. You know, he stood up for himself. He didn't take any crap, and he could hit the ball like unbelievable power. Left leg, man, no chance to stop it. He thundered it in. We definitely didn't use him. I like that player very much, and he's the guy I always, whenever he came on, he scored a goal.
No,
you see, he was the sub. He scored.
I liked him. I did like him.
He's a likeable guy.
Because of his attitude as well, you know.
Okay, I'll put up one last question. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with the last point we can talk about. Can anybody stop Manchester City from winning the league this season? That's the question. Because see the signs they made. Okay, Chelsea are getting Lukaku, but City got Grealish. The best player, in my opinion, in the league last year, Grealish. They have him. You think anybody can stop Manchester City? Obviously, Arsenal can't. We're not going to stop them.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's a difficult one because despite they've got Grealish, I still think we need a striker.
No.
Do you know, because they've got rid of Aguero. And that was probably the right thing to do because of his age. But they're obviously chasing Harry Kane. If they get Harry Kane, I think
they need someone like Gabriel Batistuta. They need him.
Oh, mate, that bloke, he was different class. Batistuta, man, he was just like on a different level. He was phenomenal. But yeah, if Man City get Harry Kane, I think, and they get him firing, I think it could be. I could see him like. I've wondered for a while if they really went for it in some games in the Premier League, whether they would be able to get 10 in a game. So it looks like it's turned into the Warren's Tea Talk show. So Man City, I think, if they get Harry Kane and they get him firing, that it's going to be quite difficult for anybody to stop them. If they don't, it could be a very close battle between them and Chelsea for the league title. But I don't know, it's very tricky. I can't see anyone other than Man City, Chelsea, and maybe an outside chance of Liverpool winning the title. But other than that, I can't see United doing it. Certainly can't see Arsenal doing it. I think we'll be lucky to finish in the top half. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. But I think it all depends on whether Man City can get like a world-class goal scorer or not. But if they do, you're right, mate.
Yeah.
I'm back. I was just chatting to the audience. I'm telling them that what I thought. I basically was saying that I think if Man City get a world-class striker, be it Harry Kane or somebody else, that they will win the title. But if they don't, then it's going to be a real close battle between them and Chelsea for the title. And the only other team that I think that might come close to winning it is Liverpool. But I can't see United winning it or anyone else coming close. So, but what do you think, mate?
I'm just going to talk about that comment there from the assistant. I think Chelsea will win. They have, if Lukaku, Chelsea have a good manager and have a team. Let's see this. I'll reply to that question in a second. I just want to put this one there. Come on, baby. Hide. Aye. Okay, let me just talk a bit. What do I think? I honestly think City are unbeatable. I don't think any team can match them in the league this season. I see the assembled Chelsea have the best squad at the moment. There isn't really a weakness. Chelsea did win the Champions League, and they did beat Manchester City. There can't be no denying that. The team has made another great leap forward since and has and he's absolutely hit the ground running. And they had a good league season, and they had a very good time in the league. And they beat a lot of very good teams on their way to that final. And of course, they won it. But I honestly think Manchester City are going to win the league. I think over the course of the season, they'll just get the results. In a one-off like that in the Champions League final against Chelsea got let in. But over the course of the season, I just think City have a better team. I think they're going to get more points. I think they're going to win the league. And now they have Grealish. I mean, I think people underestimate how good this guy actually is. He's a fantastic player. Incredible player. They're going to be the team to beat, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't think Man United have a player. Obviously, Spurs, they're not going to win anything for another 100 years. Liverpool, who knows? But for me, Manchester City, you know what I mean? Chelsea have City's number. I wish someone had Arteta's number. I'd like to text him. I'd like to give him a call, and I'd like to tell him what I think about it. Assemble, do you have Mikel Arteta's private phone number? Because I'd like to give him a phone call and sell things straight. There's going to be no racism involved, lads. We're just going to talk man up. You know what I mean?
I think Timo Werner will have a better season this year than he did last year. You know, sometimes it takes a while for players to get used to playing in the Premier League. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start banging goals in for Chelsea this year. And it might help them. But the thing is as well about Jack Grealish, I heard him talking the other day and he made a very good point. That at Aston Villa, he's the main man. And like he get double or treble marked, right? So they could shut him out of games. But if they try that at Manchester City, it's not going to work because they've got other players who are going to be freed up. Yeah, exactly. So if they try that against Man City with Grealish, it's going to be a massive problem.
There's a better quality of opposition now. The opposition are better if you mark. It's like if you get drawn in by Dennis Bergkamp 2-1. Henry was there.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
You have to personally try to.
So he, you know, he might end up finding that he's got more space to play in. and therefore he can do a lot of damage.
He's a physical guy, Warren. He's a physical guy. I mean, I can never remember a Premier League player. I'm just saying out from what I see. His legs, man. His legs are. He is extremely strong. I mean, look at the amount of muscle he has in his legs. When he goes into the tackle, man, he's going to win it. I mean, he's got muscle.
Look what he did to Hector Bellerin at that game at the Emirates. He absolutely battered him.
Oh, he turned him inside out there. He gets like these angled passes. I was watching like highlights of him. He gets the ball in the position like just outside the Bellerin or whoever the back is, whoever the defender is. He plays these little kind of, it's an angled ball outside of them, like towards the edge of the area. But it's very hard to stop because when they look, he's played it, he's gone beyond them, and then the ball is played back as he's moving. It's like he plays this ball, it doesn't look dangerous. But when he plays it, it's immediately reversed. It's like a reverse, and he's already in on top of it. It's impossible to stop. I don't know. He did it against everybody. He did it against Man City. He absolutely tormented them. He did it against Liverpool. He did it against United. Obviously, he did it against Bellerin. I mean, I could do it against Bellerin. Yeah, he's a very good player. He's underestimated. I respect what the assembled is saying. You see his point here. He thinks he's going to be found out in the Champions League. He's a big fish in a small pond. At Villa. Here we go. He's talking about Gascoigne. I remember Gascoigne playing at AC Milan against the three Dutchmen. He never touched the ball for 90 minutes. They were gods. I mean, these three guys were like the Terminator.
That AC Milan team is probably one of the best club sides in history of football.
They would have wiped the floor with Lionel Messi. They would have had for breakfast.
My mate, John, God rest his soul, he reckons that they're the best club side ever. He reckons they were better than Barcelona.
Juventus had a decent team back in the day. This AC Milan team, Franco Baresi, Hullet, Van Basten. I'm probably missing any players now, but so many good players through that team.
Listen, that Van Basten, as far as I'm concerned, is the best number 9 I've ever seen. I remember being at the England-Holland game in Germany in 1988, and he absolutely destroyed Adams. He just like turned him inside out. It nearly ruined Adams's career, and it got so badly destroyed in the game. I remember like saying to my mates, he needs to have a season in the reserves to recover because he destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him. And
was he had a sweet strike to the ball, man. He used to hit the ball like such. He was actually taller than people think. I've seen footage of him. He was like quite rangy. He had long legs. He's Dutch, of course. He had a tall frame, a long frame, big arms. I mean, he was a tall guy, long legs, but he was strong. He struck the ball. He struck it very clean.
He was 2-footed. Do you know what I mean? He was good in the air. He was like left-footed, right-footed. There wasn't anything that he couldn't do. I just think he's the best number 9 I think I've ever seen. Completely.
He used to go past people too. He was
that good. He was that good. He was nearly as good as Frank Stapleton. There you are.
Frank Stapleton. Wow, let's go back a long time. Good old Frank. Frank had a big heart. Jeez, Frank Stapleton. That takes me back. Wow.
Talking about players like doubling up or trebling up on one player, I remember watching a young Kevin Campbell when he first came, when he was playing for the Arsenal youth team, and it was the Youth Cup final, right? And they opened up the the East Stand for the Youth Cup final, and they played Doncaster. In the first leg, he'd scored a hat-trick and Arsenal won 5-0. at Doncaster, and then they played the second leg at Highbury. And for the second leg, Doncaster put 3 players on him. Honestly, I remember watching him being marked by 3 players, and they had about 6-man defence because they were so scared of him. But he still managed to score. You know, it was bonkers.
Yeah. They were the good old days, Warren. They were the good old days, my friend. They were the good old days. We don't have any characters like that anymore.
No,
but
exactly.
Yeah, you do that to Diego Maradona, of course, he's just going to go past you anyway.
The saddest thing for me is that we nearly signed him, and the only thing that made it not happen was the FA put bar on it. Gutted. I'm still, every time I think about it, I just get really upset.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can just imagine him destroying defences in the English league, because he would have done.
Yeah.
He was superb, mate. He was just like the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Any shadow of a doubt. He just like win games on his own.
There's nothing he couldn't do with the football.
So that goal he scored against England in the World Cup when he danced around like the whole team, it was just insane. It was like, and I remember him talking about that game against England, and he's just saying, yeah, it was just like having a game against my mates in the park. It was just a bit of a laugh. Do you know? And a game of that importance, and he's talking about it like that. Do you know?
Yeah. Thank God Ireland didn't have to play him. Thank God the Republic of Ireland didn't have to play Maradona. Oh man, it would have been really painful. He would have absolutely mauled us. Man.
Did he not play against Ireland when Argentina came on that tour of the UK?
I'm not sure about that, but in a World Cup or something, I'm glad we didn't face him.
Yeah,
he was a different animal then. He was.
Yeah.
Oh,
because I remember he came to Scotland and he played against Scotland and he destroyed them, and he played England and destroyed them at Wembley, and I was lucky enough to see him play again for a rest of the world 11 against an English FA 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he got booed mercilessly, but just to see the great man like playing, it was just incredible.
On the picture in front of you.
It was incredible. Yeah. It's just.
But, I always look at the goal against England, and it's like, and other goals he scored, but the one against England is like, as soon as he got the ball, if you went left, he went right. If you went right, he went left. If you tried to push out on him, he was just going to go around you. If you tried to stand off, he was going to go past. You know, no matter what they would have done in that situation, he was going to score. They tried to show him the line, he cut inside. Then they tried to show him inside, he went outside. No matter what you would have done, there was no way to stop him. And then the goalkeeper at the time was the best goalkeeper in the world. And in one move, he controlled it and hit the ball past him. It was one move as he was going. He only had a split second. The goalie came out. Shilton was the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. And he just put the ball past him. It was, and there was defenders sliding across. There was guys breathing down his neck. One false move, one bad touch of the ball, and it was gone. But every touch was perfect. He just
on the ball. It was just a magician. That's all there is to it. And as soon as he got that ball and for that goal, he had one thought and one thought only, was that he was going to score.
Yeah.
You know, and then people go on about that goal, but I think the goal he scored against Belgium in the semi-final was even better, because he took on about 5 players. There's about 5 of them around him, and he still managed to score. It was just unbelievable. And
it was like a pirouette at the end. When he made the finish, he was just he was pulling the shot one way, and his body was going the other way. The ball was going that way, but his body was like contorting the other direction, and he was like, the balance and the stability to actually get the shot off, like he was moving at real speed and at a really sharp angle. It was like he had to bank at a high speed to get past him. He needed to fly through. It was like a piece of paper. But you see the comment here. You see the comment from the assembled. Reed should have brought him down.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Reed. Wasn't he Sunderland manager? Yeah, Reed was Sunderland manager for a while. Reedy.
That's right. He could have tried, but I don't think he would have succeeded.
He's like this, like Reedy. You know what I mean? He was one of the lads. All right.
He tried, but I don't think he would have succeeded.
No.
I just don't think anyone would have been able to stop him.
His legs, like his body, and the speed, he was very strong in riding the tackle. Whenever it was coming in, he bent the knees, he kept the back straight, and he cushioned the ball against the side of the leg. It was like you have to go through him to get the ball. You'd have to actually really take him out. And I remember Argentina, Uruguay tried to cripple him a few times. Spain.
The only way you could have stopped him is if you'd actually literally dragged him to the floor.
Yeah.
And even then, you'd have to be able to catch him, because I don't think you would have caught him. Do you know what I mean?
My wife, her grandfather, my wife's grandfather, he played for Genoa.
He played for who, sorry?
He played for Genoa. Vittorio Godinha. Check it out online. Vittorio Godinha. He played for the Genoa, and he played against Inter Milan. He played against Giuseppe Meazza. You know the Meazza Stadium? Giuseppe Meazza Stadium? The San Siro.
Mm-hmm.
He played against him back in the day. And he was in Italy. And he left for South America. And he was going to come back, But they told him in Italy, there's a world war starting. It was just like 1940. They told him there was a world war starting, don't come back. So he stayed in Venezuela. That's where my wife's family come from. So my father-in-law is his son. And he founded the first Venezuelan national football team, the Vino Tinto.
Really?
He founded them, He was manager, but he founded the whole thing. So he retired as a footballer from Genoa. He came across to Venezuela. So my father-in-law is his son. And he had a war with Giuseppe Meazza. They hated each other. Absolute vengeance. And Meazza never scored when he played. And then when Godinha retired, so when he retired, Meazza scored. And before the game, Meazza said, finally, Godinha has retired. Now I can score against the Genoa. Meazza passed away, first. Meazza died. And my father, Godinha, Vittorio Godinha, the guy that's related to me now, he was at home. He had a whiskey that night when he died. And he said one thing when Meazza died, finally that son of a bitch is dead. They hated each other, man. I'm being serious now. That's what he said, and like my wife said, no hard feelings. He said, finally, that son of a bitch is dead. Giuseppe Meazza. Okay. That's a good history, right? I can show you some photos.
It's incredible, mate.
I'll send you some photos on WhatsApp, I'll send you privately some photos of him training with Genoa and with the Venezuelan team. I have a lot of photos I can send you them. The guy was as strong as he was built like a tank. He was so strong. It's unbelievable. Incredible. The guy was. So there you go. He played for Genoa, and he managed and founded the first Venezuelan team, the Vino Tinto. So there you go.
Well, that's
what I would say about that. I won't give his bank account number. But his wife is still alive, and I met her recently. I met the great man's wife. And he was an incredible player. He was a famous guy. But he wouldn't have come here at all if the war didn't break out. He wanted to go back to Italy and do stuff there. When the war broke out, he stayed in Venezuela, away from it.
Mm.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. You look a bit sleepy.
No, I'm fine, mate. Honestly, I was just taking what you just told me. It's incredible.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. He had war with Meazza. They hated each other from day one till the end. And there was no hard feelings when Beyonce passed away. Finally, that son of a bitch is dead. That's what he said. And then he hit the whiskey. He had a good old couple of whiskeys that night. And he had the music on. He was, all right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Stay online. I'm just going to cut this, and then we can have a little chat if you want.
All right, mate.
I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Warren from Warren's Team Talk. Check out his YouTube channel, guys, Warren's Team Talk. It's along the bottom of the news feed there, guys. You can see I have all the information. Subscribe to his channel, guys. Follow him on Instagram, Warren's Team Talk. He has a really in-depth channel, guys. He does videos on many different things. He has a wealth of experience. He's been an Arsenal fan for a long, long time, guys. Check it out. And also, if you want, subscribe to my channel, like my channel. And take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Nothing but the best, guys. Stay healthy, Stay safe, guys. Wear a mask, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Peace.